How have you started to form the discipline to be able to do this hard work all the time?
So what I will say is that it's been a lot harder recently since the sneaker reselling industry has been declining. When I was first starting off, everything was super exciting, right? Like my first sale, my first membership, um, things of that nature, as well as like being able to hit like when we had a really good drop and we were able to check out a bunch of pairs of shoes. It was super exciting and dopamine levels were extremely high when there were a lot of cancels for Prosper subscriptions when the industry was shrinking, that like every single one of those cancel notifications, like it would just ruin my day, like ruin my mood for the entire day. And I think with that, it became a lot harder to motivate myself to work on the companies. And right now, like to be honest, I'm not incredibly excited about any of the stuff that I'm doing at Atomic. Like I still have new ideas, I still work on everything, but it's not like the same energy as what I experienced at the beginning of creating them. But with the new idea that I have, I'm really excited to see if that will kind of rekindle the energy that a baby startup has. And honestly, I feel like that's something that I really thrive in. Makes me work hard. It makes me super motivated, and I'm hoping to see that again.
You mentioned how your dopamine was very high early in the early stages. Is that something that you've looked into a bit?
Not like scientifically, but when I say that, I mean like when there was a notification that a new member joined, like I'd instantly brighten up, like I'd be happier, I'd be super excited about it. Yeah.
Interesting. I've looked into a good bit about dopamine and serotonin and as well as some other hormones and whatnot, but I've noticed a lot of this stuff comes down to instant delayed gratification. Have you heard of these topics before?
Um, Not too much on them, but I know a little bit.
Okay. Well, briefly, instant gratification is basically the things that you do that give you those dopamine hits. Like it make you happy like right now, and they're the
Mhm,
easier things to do. And then delayed gratification is basically the things that are harder for you to do right now, but they have bigger payoffs in the future. Those are the
mhm,
things that you usually need to discipline yourself to be able to do. And then you have this compounding effect essentially afterwards. I wrote a blog post about a lot of this stuff and things about it, but it's very interesting because of the amount of distractions that we have nowadays. It's actually part of the reason why I'm doing this podcast is how distracted I'll see a lot of my friends and sometimes they'll be lost as well. Other people in college and they're basically directionless. And I think having a podcast like this that gives people the different ways to potentially be successful from a relatable lens is a good way to go about it. I wanted to see as well with you. I drastically cut down my social media use over the past couple of years now. I wanted to
mhm.
hear what your thoughts were on social media and how you use that.
I think before my businesses, I would watch YouTube a lot, like as a kid. And I really enjoyed it, and it was something that took up a lot of time. I think when the businesses came around, I honestly enjoyed working on them as much as I enjoyed, like, watching YouTube and all of that, and because of that, I took a lot of time away from that, but now that I haven't been super like on social media and all of that stuff. Now like when I pull out my phone and I watch TikTok or I watch Instagram Reels or I watch like a TV show, like I just don't feel good about myself, which I know is really weird. But personally, I just don't necessarily feel good about myself and I don't have a super strong desire to kind of go on social media unless I'm like incredibly bored or like, in a car ride or something along those lines. I will say though that I have a much higher appeal of like hanging out with my friends or like going on a walk or doing something fun that's not necessarily productive than I do with social media. Yeah. But it is definitely hard to like, you know, because at the end of the day, working on the businesses is mentally draining. Like it takes a lot out of you. And I think that it is hard for me sometimes to choose to do that opposed to hang out with my friends or just kind of mess around. Yeah.